It's that time in the know for Sunday, January 19th. We're going to be talking about some cold. Now, take a look here on our Saturday. The cold air hasn't fully arrived in parts of southern Ontario, but our Saturday brought some wet snow to a number of areas. And of course, with the dipping temperatures, a lot of that sort of wet conditions have turned into ice. So please be careful out there, and some dealing with some slippery conditions in parts of the country. Meanwhile, earlier it was the blizzard in the parts of Manitoba that really was quite a point of focus. Now those conditions have subsided. The cold, however, will continue for at least a few more days. And we head to northern Canada where, yeah, the extreme cold very much a factor, but not impacting the takeoff of this French Air Force Airbus. Pretty cool stuff as it gets liftoff and flies off into the horizon. Now, still on the horizon, some very cold temperatures. Our meteorologist, Rhythm Reet, is here to break it all down. Rhythm, the extreme cold, it's looking like it's not just for us here in Canada.
Absolutely, Matt. It's actually pushing the inauguration on Monday indoors. Now, that cold air is going to be settling into areas across Washington as we're heading into our day on Monday, of course, and then you get that second push heading into Wednesday as well. This will end up being possibly the third coldest inauguration since comparative to Ronald Reagan's in 1985 and even John F. Kennedy's in 1961, which got down to around minus 5.5 degrees. So as of right now, I know a lot of Canadians are going to be looking at Monday's forecast for Washington, D.C. and saying like -3 is not too bad. But remember, it's a different temperate climate there, so it definitely is cold.
Rhythm, do you want to hear my Ronald Reagan impression? No, maybe later.
Maybe later.
Now, Rhythm, the cold is going to go even beyond D.C. It looks like some southern states, particularly in the southeast, are also getting some interesting wintry weather.
You got that right, Matt. We are looking at a possible potent winter storm impacting those southern states from Texas all the way up to Georgia and the Carolinas. So let me break down what exactly is happening. You have the cold air that is going to be infiltrating from the north, which we've been talking about. Towards the south, you have that warm air. So whenever you have that temperature gradient in between that, that's where this winter storm is going to be setting up. So as all of that cold air plummets down, it's going to be this Gulf low that actually stays in the Gulf. It does not push into those southern states. That's what makes it even more messy. Forms, and that's what's going to be tracking right along those states to bring this storm to fruition. So let's time this out. We can be looking at ice pellets, widespread snow across areas of New Orleans, Louisiana, but this dangerous part is going to be some of that freezing rain as we head into Jacksonville. So I'm going to talk about that in just a second, but in terms of the snowfall accumulation, we can be looking at some areas getting upwards of 20 centimeters, like areas like Pasadena and also New Orleans. When we compare this to some of the previous set storm records, yeah, we've gotten close to around 11 centimeters. So some of these records may just be being broken, especially in New Orleans, where you have 6.8 centimeters as their a previous record for the most amount of snowfall in 1963, but we're projecting upwards of 10 to 20 centimeters. Now, like I mentioned, the freezing rain is going to be a very big story, especially for areas like Tallahassee and Jacksonville, leading to those slippery roads. But also, when we take a look at sleet or ice pellets, that's going to be leaving quite a big area like in Pasadena and New Orleans to cause some of those slick roads. The big story on the back end of this is on Thursday. Those temperatures dip quite a bit across areas of New Orleans, and that's going to start to bump back up. So it's going to be a short-lived storm, but nonetheless quite impactful indeed.
Yeah, Rhythm, kind of a similar storyline to us. The temperatures are going to get cold, but the rebound will be on the way later in the week.